everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm the Evil 1666, and this is my review on Dying Light 2. First thing I want to start off with is this game is terrible. I've completed this game, and the story was horrendous. I absolutely hate the story in this game, and there is no excuse for it. Dying Light 1 was an amazing game, and it was so fun. The story had a lot of high points, but also quite a few low points. The story in this game was just so bland and just very Hollywood. It was just so Hollywood, it didn't even feel like a story. It just, you were just there, a part of something. The game's not all that bad though. I will give it. I've got a few good points to give it, but other than that, I'm just going to come out and say it right now. Do not buy this game. Whatever you do, do not buy it. I've completed the game. As I said, I've put about 60 hours in it. I did complete the game in about 36 hours before anything. The rest of it has just been, trying to clear everything up, which I can't actually do. So, getting into our first point, the amount of bugs in this game is horrendous. I have to say, I didn't have as many problems with Cyberpunk as I have had with this. At least with Cyberpunk, I actually managed to complete the story and enjoy the story. But whereas with this, I've got another video up on my channel showing some of the bugs that happened in my story. That weren't all of them. They were just some of the funniest ones that I decided to record. So starting off, once you complete the game, it tells you that your save has been reverted back to a certain point in the story, which, fair enough. That was awesome. I thought I'd be able to relive some of the choices that I made and experience, the other side of the story, like siding with the survivors. No, that is not anything you can do at all. It reverts you back to just after the missiles hit the city. So I'm locked in, basically, in siding with the PKs. I can't do anything now. But that's not the problem. This little problem, right? This is meant to be the story mission, which lets me continue. Can't do it. You go there, nothing happens. No matter what time of day you go to it, there is nothing you can do. I've, quit my game, closed my bloody PlayStation down, everything. Nothing will happen. This is broke, and I cannot progress any further now. So, because of that, I decided, oh, you know what? I'll just go round collecting all the inhibitors. I have done all of that, apart from the fact that this little building here, yes, there is also a side mission which I can't do, is destroyed, so I can't grab this inhibitor. I also can't do the side mission because with this mission you have to reach this antenna and, I don't know, do something, but the building's been destroyed, so I can't reach this inhibitor and I can't do the mission now. Onto the inhibitors, I've been into every GRE facility, collected everything around the map, and I'm still missing 6. Not counting, well, counting the one that I showed you, that's 6. But if I did manage to somehow get this one that is just floating in the air, and I will go there and I will show you it, because it is just a floating box at this point. I have been all over the map. I've collected every single thing, every single inhibitor that is marked on the map. And once you reach a certain point in the story, you can activate these towers, and these towers will then show you the location of the inhibitors when you zoom in. I have been, again, I just said it again, but I have been all over the map and I have collected every single inhibitor, and I'm missing 6. well, 5, not counting this one, should I say. So let me take you over there and I'll show you what it looks like. Another problem that I've got is because the buildings are destroyed, whenever you go into this area, it is just filled with smoke and ash. You can barely see 2 feet in front of you. It is horrific to even navigate. And I wouldn't have had a problem with the save reverting back to a certain point, but it just makes no sense why they would revert you back to this point, and you just saw something horrendous pop in there. But yeah, it just makes no sense. Why revert to this point in the game? Of all places, why not just take you back to the very start of the game? You know, we're living in fucking 2022 now. Games should have a new game plus as a feature from the get-go. There's no excuse to have a free roam environment like this. There's no excuse to not have new game plus. While we're traveling there, moving on to some of the decent things, the free running is really fun. I will give them credit. The free running is great. Can be a bit buggy at times, but you know, that's just how it's going to be. It's a bit janky. Combat is also brilliant. You know, getting into a fight with a handful of infected is great. Watching body parts just flying all over the place, or you know, squaring up to a volatile is really intense. And combining that with your free running movement and your dodging, it feels fantastic. And I cannot compliment the combat and the free running more than what I've already just did. We're almost here now, and I don't know if my survivor... Yep, there you go. You can see it literally just marked there. Let's try and... Yep, there you go. You can see it then. Sorry I can't get a bit better view of it, but because of the smoke and the ash, that's all you're going to really see anyway. I've landed on it, but when you land on it, when you go to open it, you'll then just fall down. So it's just a nightmare to try and land on it again. Oh, shite. I'm probably going to... No, that's all right. Moving on to the story. The story is horrendous. It is so bland. There is no risk or reward factor to the game. There are parts when it feels like there's going to be risk and reward, but in the end, they don't take it anywhere. As you know, you're infected, and at certain parts in the game, you will turn into a viral, I'm guessing, like a super-powered viral. But you still hold on to some sense of humanity, and you just rip apart zombies at this point. And when you transform, that feels fantastic. You know, it is fun just going into this like rage mode and ripping virals and zombies apart. It feels amazing, but nothing happens with it in the story. Further on, you'll get to do it a couple of times. I think about 4 or 5 times throughout the story. You'll get to like activate rage mode, and then the final boss is like you go into rage mode or viral mode, whatever you want to call it, and you'll face the final boss like it. But the story just doesn't take it anywhere. At the end, the ending I got was I rescued Lawan and let the missiles just hit the city, because I couldn't give 2 shits about the people that lived in this city. They were just fucking arseholes anyway. So letting a missile hit them probably made place a better place to be. So I rescued Lawan and lived happily ever after. I left the city because apparently the inhibitors you take are killing you, and it just makes no sense. You know, it's just boring Hollywood you know, I don't know how to word it. I just really disliked it. The final boss fight with Waltz was okay, but it could have been better. Like I say, the risk of, well, he just wants to kill you because you want to rescue Mia, and there's a whole jazzy shitstorm to go with that whole thing. So I won't go into it because I just don't want to. It's just terrible. And that's the problem. They had an amazing story with Dying Light 1. You know, you went through the entire game and it was. You had your really high tension parts, especially fighting with Rice on top of the building. Or when you see Jade get infected and you just fucking snap her neck. There's a lot of emotional attachment to that character because you go through the entire game just two steps behind her and you want to catch up to her and stop her from doing anything drastic. And you grew to like Jade as a character and some of the other characters as well, like Dr. Zera. He had such an amazing stake in it as well, and it was great how everything played out with him. But in this, there's no risk to anything. Like, it sets up for so much, but then it just lets you down. Like, for instance, siding with the PK's barely done anything to me because I stopped the plan for them to attack the dam, and now this entire section of the map is still flooded for me. But because the story's broke, well, my save's broke, should I say, I can't go back and play out the attack on the dam unless I want to start a new character. And that's just tedious at that point because you've got to go through everything again. You've got to level your character up again. And it's just boring at this point. For instance, the Gre Dark Zones. These things are fucking horrendous. For instance, like, the Dark Zones in Dying Light 1 were amazing. There was so much tension when you went into a tunnel filled with bodies and volatiles around every corner. That was horrifying. Or you went into a hotel that has got some creepy, eerie music playing, and you've got to go through, and then screamers will start going off, and doors will be kicked down from virals. There was so much tension when you went into one of those dark zones. But the dark zones in these GRE facilities, are just fucking copy and paste of each other. You start from the top and you work your way down one level at a time. You go down 2 levels, collecting 2 inhibitors, and then you hit ground floor, and then you get another 2 as a reward. But the layouts are just all copy and paste. They are fucking disgraceful, and I cannot stress this enough. They are terrible. And the fact that this game is getting glowing reviews just shows what is wrong with this gaming industry now. Half of these side missions I have, as you can see, they don't work. I'll go there and then the quest marker or the quest giver won't be there, and then it'll just disappear on my map until I quit the game and load back in, and even that doesn't solve it. I've done this mission, the Wall of Valor, where you've got to go and collect all the PK dog tags and return them. I've done that, and when I came back to the ship to hand them in, the woman that I'm meant to return them to, she's not there. Closed my game, loaded back up, she still won't spawn, so that's broke as well. There's just a lot. As you can see, there's a quest out in the middle of fucking nowhere, which I can't get to. The game is horrendous. How they have let this be sold is just disgusting. but yet everyone's giving them a pass because I don't know why. Cyberpunk got absolutely destroyed, rightfully so. So why isn't Dying Light 2 getting destroyed for releasing it in such a horrific state? Um, there's just nothing going for it. I'm afraid this game. I'd say just keep your money and spend it on something else like Elden Ring or whatever you enjoy. But the current state of this game, I will not recommend it to anyone. I've even been playing it through with my friend who is siding with the survivors, and the whole like that. Just had to run and do something really quickly, so don't mind the cut. What was I saying? That was it. So me and my friend, we was doing a mission last night where you have to rescue two men and a child. Not rescue, sorry. You have to go find them and get a map back from them. Now, it was quite cool, this little mission. There was a lot to do in it. You have to follow the footsteps and then find where they've hid. And then we found them, obviously. And I told my friend what my choice was. I let them both go and took the map back to the PKs basically. And you basically get fuck all for it, just a bit of XP and whatever. Now, my friend decided to kill the guy and take the map. And either way, no matter the choice, you're always going to be fighting the mercenaries that get sent after you. And the outcome, either way, is just shit and boring. You keep the map, you solve a little riddle, and then you get just some XP and two C4s for it. It is pointless. And the fact is, the C4s don't even scale to your level or your blueprint. So my mate ended up with two level 1 C4s, and so did I because I helped him complete the quest. The false choice mechanic in this game is horrendous. And it just comes back to me speaking about how my choice, because my save's broke, I can't do shit all about it. So I'm just stuck in this infinite loop of trying to complete broken side quests, which I can't do anything about unless I start a new game. And it's just boring. It really is boring. And moving on to the next thing, to be honest, the only decent part about siding with the PKs is unlocking the PK crossbow. This thing scales with you and it makes the game fucking trivial once you've unlocked it. Everything else is shit. Car traps, yeah, they're fun to watch bodies go flying. Razor cannons, for some reason, are broke. They'll only work for like 3 feet in front of you and then turn into confetti. Electrical traps, I've fucking killed myself more times on these than I can even think about. Molotov Lanterns are fun, but half the time there's nothing underneath them to even use against. Pendulum traps, again, they're just kind of pointless. They only sit in the middle of a road and you activate it. And then the UV traps, they're only fucking worth using against virals or volatiles. And half the time, you'll probably get jumped on by a volatile before you even activate the fucking thing. Because for some reason, they're so buggy whenever you use UV against them. It's a joke. So, going back to the PK crossbow, as I said, this thing scales with your level. So I'm level 8 and it does 630 damage. That is way more than a level 9 artifact long axe. And this axe is maxed out. I've got the grip with increased damage. I've got the electric inferno shaft, and then the electric tip. And this thing is awesome. It's fun to use. Like I say, the combat in this game is amazing. But when you get the PK crossbow, there's just no point in using this. I mean, your weapons break, and there's no bloody way to repair them unless you get the Korek charm. So using this weapon, it's pointless. Whereas I can just whip out this and turn anything into a glorified pincushion. Like the Revenants, for example, these things are meant to be scary, hard, little mini bosses that you can fight. Whip out the PK crossbow and they turn into a glorified pincushion. Honestly, they turn into a fucking joke with this thing. You will not have fun with this game. You have to force yourself to have fun when you've got this weapon. And half the time, because the game's so glitchy on consoles, I don't know what it's like on PC. So if someone can tell me what it's like, please let me know. The game on console is just horrendous. You know, enemies can be glitchy. Half the time, your hits with this thing might not even register. So, like, for some reason, when something's like 10 meters in front of you, it won't work. Like, I've shot those spitters from, say, that tank. I was stood on that tank and a spitter would be there, and for some reason, the weapon won't hit them. It just won't register at all. So it's basically a shotgun. You just have to get in their face and just hit them with it. And don't get me wrong, it can be fun. You know, they've got loads of ammo types for it, but it just trivializes the game. It makes it so easy. It's just boring after a while. You just powerhouse through everything and it's just boring. Honest, I can't recommend this game to anyone, I'm afraid. It is bad, it is bland, and the story is horrendous. The only thing it's got going for it is the free running and the melee combat. It's fun, don't get me wrong. You know, whizzing from building to building is a great thing. The grapple hook got absolutely nerfed in this from Dying Light 1, where you could just Spider-Man your way up to a fucking building and reach the roof in a matter of seconds. The grapple hook in this just turns into a little swing, really. It's shit. It's boring and it's bland. But I can understand why they done it, to try and make the game a bit more fair, I'm guessing. So yeah, let's show you the little... Half the time, if it doesn't even fucking want... You know, if it won't register anyway, but... let's do it here. It should register here. So yep, it just... Obviously, this isn't the greatest place to show you, but it just turns it into a little swing, really. Half the time, the UV flashlight doesn't fucking work. When it does, it's great, but for some reason, against volatiles, it is just a nightmare to use. It won't stun them properly, or it'll stun them, but then a normal infected will somehow push them out of the animation from a stun animation, and it's just not fun. It really isn't fun. I don't understand why this game is getting such a pass from the... It's terribly buggy for some reason, yet every journalist is giving it fucking 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s or whatever. And yeah, Cyberpunk was ripped apart, and rightfully so. Cyberpunk was a fucking disgrace when that game launched, but I don't understand why Dying Light 2 is getting such a hard pass right now. It boggles my mind. Yeah, all I can say is just don't buy the game. Just save your money for something else that you'll actually enjoy. I mean, Elden Ring's out tonight, so if you're humming and ahhing about what to buy fucking Elden Ring instead of this, because at least with Elden Ring, you know it's actually going to be playable and you'll actually have fun with it. Whereas with this, it's just no, there's nothing fun about it really. You force yourself to have fun with it, and games shouldn't be like that. But anyway, everything I've said in this video is, you know, it's my opinion. You guys might love this game, and I respect your opinion. So, like, just leave me a comment. Tell me what your favourite part of the game was. You know, what did you enjoy the most? And let's have a decent discussion about it, because, you know, nowadays it's hard to actually have a decent discussion about things, and I think that's what the world really needs right now, is just, okay, I caught a bolter by not doing anything. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a lovely night and day or whatever you're doing right now. I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like or comment or even a subscription. Thank you all very much, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.